Hello viewers, welcome to my channel, and this is Fatma. So let's start. So today's topic is determination of equilibrium level of income and employment. So today we are going to do the aggregate demand and aggregate supply model, in a two sector economy. So in an economy there are consumers and producers. The equilibrium occurs when aggregate demand is equals to aggregate supply. So aggregate demand of an economy is the total demand for goods and services. Whatever all the people of an economy are demanding and goods and services, that will be the aggregate demand. And the demand is power to purchase and the will to purchase. So these services and goods are produced by factors of production such as land, labor, capital. So producers. These are produced by the producers. The factors of production, land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. So in other words, aggregate demand is the national income which has been earned by the factors of production against rendering of their services. So when they provide their services, they earn this income. So this aggregate demand can also be referred as the national income of the economy. So such earnings of the FOPs or the factors of production are either consumed or they are invested. There are two ways of demand. There are two types of demand: the consumption demand and the investment demand. So the equation of this national income in a demand side would be national income is equals to consumption plus investment. Okay, so where consumption is equals to C naught plus Cy. The C naught is the autonomous consumption. It is the autonomous consumption. It is not affected by the level of income. Even when there is no income or whatever the income is, or there is very high income, this consumption side remains the same. But this side of the consumption, here the small c represents MPC, marginal propensity to consume, which is the percentage of income which is spent on consumption. So this is the induced consumption. It is induced consumption and it is affected by the income. See, for example, if marginal propensity to consume is 0.6, which is equal to 60%, that means consumers are spending 60% of their income, which this is the income. That means consumers are spending 60% of their respective income, or the people, or the total economy. And the I in this equation represents investment. This is the investment, and we will only be taking into account the autonomous investment, which is not affected by the level of income. Either there is income or there is no income, or if income increases or income decreases, whatever happens to the income, this investment is unaffected by it. Now let's make the diagram of aggregate demand. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, and on x-axis we will take national income, on y-axis we will take the consumption plus investment, okay. So this is the curve of consumption plus investment. See, this area represents the consumption and investment which occurs even when the income is zero. So this one. So this area is unaffected by the income. This curve shows the induced consumption. So it starts from autonomous consumption and autonomous investment, but further it shows the induced consumption which is affected by the income. C naught, the autonomous consumption, plus CY, which is the induced consumption, plus I, the investment. So this is the demand side of the economy. So this shows that as national income increases, the consumption and investment increases as well. Now let's do the supply side of the economy. The aggregate supply represents the total output produced in the economy. So in other words, aggregate supply is the national income which has been produced by the factors of production. When factors of production produce goods and services, they get payments. These payments are either spent on consumption, or they are spent on savings, because whatever we consume is our consumption and whatever is left over is our savings. So the equation of the supply side of the national income is Y is equals to C plus S, whereas before C is equals to C naught plus CY, and S represents S naught minus S naught plus SY. Now the S naught is in minus because it is the autonomous savings. These are the savings which occur even when the income is zero. So when the income is zero, the savings are negative, because to consume people spend their savings. So the savings become negative, and these are the induced savings. These are affected by the income. So when there is increase in income, these increase as well. For example, if S is the marginal propensity to save, the small s. So if it is 0.2, which is 20%, it means that consumers are saving, or there is 20% of saving in the economy. The 80% is consumption. Now let's make the diagram. So this is the supply side of the economy. This is the diagram for it. And the income is consumption plus savings, the autonomous consumption and autonomous saving, the induced consumption and the induced savings. So the curve starts below zero because we have to show the negative impact of no income. So zero, when income is zero, the savings are negative. So that's why we will start the curve from below zero. As our national income increases, the savings and consumption also increases. Now let's determine the equilibrium of national income. So at point E, the equilibrium occurs where consumption plus saving is equals to consumption plus investment. So this is the demand side and this is the supply side. The both are equal. This is where the equilibrium occurs. This point of equilibrium is also known as effective demand point. The higher the effective demand point, the higher the national income and employment will be. So if let's say this point, why is this point not the equilibrium point? Let's say this point is G. So here C plus I, so this is the C plus I curve, is more than C plus S. That's why this cannot be the equilibrium point. And why can't this point be equilibrium point? Let's say this is F. This can't be equilibrium point because here C plus S is more than C plus I. So here the national income has tendency to increase, here it has tendency to decrease. So that's why this point where C plus S is equals to C plus I, demand is equals to supply, this would be the equilibrium point of national income. Let's say this is Y1, this is Y2, and this point is Y3. So at Y2, at OY2 point E, the equilibrium occurs of national income. So that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Allah Hafiz.